Hello Scouts, so here we've got Lakota, and you can see that she's scavenging in the garden, and she's looking for little bits of twig and anything that she can use as kindling so that she can start a fire a little bit later on. And you'll find if you root around in your parents' gardens, you're probably going to find stuff like this. You'll find bits of wood, little bits of twig, which will be really excellent for fire starting, and you'll get bonus points from your parents for having done some gardening. Okay Scouts, what you can see in front of you now is a box where Lakota is sorting out her tinder and kindling into different sizes. So she's got it graded all the way from small through to larger. And it's really important that when you're trying to light a fire, you do start off with some really small stuff. So you can see some of it is almost like matchstick sized. Okay, if you try and use bits of wood that are too large when you're starting your fire, you'll just swamp it and it won't have the chance to get going. So that's Lakota's kindling box, and that stuff is going to sit there in the sunshine and it's going to dry out and be really lovely and dry and ready for starting a fire when we need it to. And then next to it we've got some larger pieces ready to take over when the fire starts to take hold a little bit.
Okay, so we're doing fire lighting today, guys. Now I've gone for the simple technique. I'm a good old-fashioned scout, quite simple, so I like to go for a good old pyramid fire. Now, start off in the centre with all your little paperly bits like there. I've also got cheekily in there, I've got a pine cone.
Okay, and one other thing you might want to try, here's a pine cone, and we've put quite a good dollop of Vaseline on the top of it.
The reason why I've gone for a pine cone is because it's got lots of surface area, so there's lots of oxygen little bits in there, and that's the trick you want to get, is you don't want to compress all inside. You want there to be lots of air, lots of space for the fire to move around at the start. When you get to the bigger ones, that's when you can start getting it a little bit more denser, and sort of getting it and sort of restricting the airflow a little bit. Now if Dave comes around here, I'll say around this side is where I've left my little entryway. So in the middle bits and all these bits here, I have got lots of little kindling bits. This is where I've sort of focused a good nice bit of crushed up. And that's where I'm going to try and stick my match, because I'm going to try and do this in one match. And before I light it, one thing I will say, I'm just trying to find things, like if you've been on a rainy day and you're looking for sort of sticks like this size, don't look on the ground, look in the trees. These all fall and they'll hang in the trees after they've fallen, and they'll dry out in the course of a day after it's been raining overnight, or anything on the ground will stay dry. So we're going to try this in one technique. Now I'm an out of practice Boy Scout, so a really good technique with matches when lighting them. So if you cup your hand like this, then what you want to do is you want to flick the match there and then very quickly put it underneath there, so then you've got a nice little wind cover around it with just your one hand there. So let's see if I can do it. So there we are. Nicely this in. And we'll see if I can do this with just one matchstick. Now actually that's the kindling bit burnt, but let's see if it catches the whole way through.
Remind us, in the centre you had a pine cone.
So in the centre I had a pine cone. You don't necessarily need to have a pine cone in the centre.
And you had some silver birch bark as well.
And I had some silver birch, so I had some silver birch bark which I'd shredded up. I had a pine cone, and I had loads of different types, just as thinner twigs as I could get. And instead of leaving it one little bit, I'd do just sort of like try and tear it up. And when I say lots of surface area, if you want to imagine, you just want lots of little bits around the side. So tear anything up, or break anything up. So it's got lots of space for air to go in and about.
Now.
So we're now on to the point where we've got to cook the marshmallows. Now you can either use skewers like we are now, or you can use sticks that you find. If you're going to use sticks that you find, I'd say use a live one. You try. You want to take all the bark off it, so then sharpen it off. But if you make sure the marshmallow only touches bits that you've scraped off with the bark, you should have fairly good confidence that it is nice and clean. So cooking wise, two different techniques. One nicely above the heat, and one which everyone goes, which is stick it in the fire and wait for it to light on fire. Which one do you think is going to make a more effective marshmallow? So essentially though, keep an eye on where the heat's going, never switch positions. So if you switch position and move around the fire, the wind will just follow you and blast smoke in your face. You'll never get to actually have a good experience. And then patience. Occasionally turning them around. And also the other technique, don't hold them like that. They'll get melty and gooey and fall off in there. Now what happens, the one on the bottom is cooking a lot quicker, and this one gets the risk of catching on fire. You might enjoy it a bit more toasted, you might enjoy it catching on fire. If it does catch on fire, blow it out. It'll be charcoaly around the outside, But you can take the charcoal off, it'll be melting gooey on the inside, just make sure that will be boiling hot. We've got two nicely sort of warmed up marshmallows. One's a little bit more gooey and a little bit more toasty. One's a little bit more plumpy and a little bit less melty, and you can sort of eat straight away.